Howdy folks, Chris here at Shucks and Vans. I wanted to do a quick video on the water tank and tray system, a bit about installation to try to clear up any questions, help you understand how this thing goes into place. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. I will crawl under the vehicle to show you that at the end, but I wanted to show you out here so you get a sense when you get your kit what it's going to look like. So, and then some handy tools. Some things to remember or to gather. We've got a 17 millimeter socket, an 11 millimeter socket. The 11 millimeter is to take out the factory stud that holds this fuel straps in place. The 17 millimeter is to reinsert these new 10 millimeter longer studs back through our mounting flange up into the chassis. A 5/32, wherever that is. 5/32 Allen wrench, that's for the 1/4 20 fasteners. A 3/16 Allen wrench, that is for the 5/16 fasteners. The 5/16 fasteners, there are 3 of them. Those go through these 3 locations, and that secures to the pinch weld. And the pinch weld sits in this little channel right here, so you're gonna have to kind of shove that up onto the pinch weld. Now when you go to do this, the easiest way to go about it is to take the 11 millimeter socket, remove the fuel strap on the front or the rear. You leave the center strap alone. You don't have anything you don't want to do anything with that. The 11 millimeter socket pulls down the factory stud. You're going to replace it with one of these, but there's a particular orientation that's necessary when you go to reinsert this, and that looks like this. But to walk you through it, we've got a bolt and a lock washer, and those will go up through the mounting flange, and then 2 of these flat washers. And these flat washers are critical because when they form the fuel strap, there is, in order to make that strong and stiff, they form it out of thin gauge sheet metal, but they make a ribbing, and that ribbing makes it strong. Well, in that, the center part of the strap is shorter than the sides, and the sides of the strap sit on the shoulders of this strap. So we have to fill that void, and that is why we use these 2 washers. Now, maybe more than you care to know, but we've got a bolt, we've got a lock washer, our strap, these 2 flat washers, all of that goes back through, and this would be facing the driver's side of the vehicle. This side of the flange faces towards the tank. That's going to go up through the fuel strap, up into the stud that's welded into the chassis. And again, there's just 2 of them. The center fuel strap, you just leave it alone. You're only going to do it the front and the back. I'm going to walk you around this side so you have a visual of what happens here. Now, we've got this is just for example purposes. When you get this, you're going to notice that there are 6 holes, and there is a stainless insert that we press into the aluminum, and that allows the user not to have to use a box wrench or a socket to secure that. It's pressed into the aluminum and held captive there. So all you have to do is send in this 1/4 20 fastener, and it secures to that aluminum. Now, 2018 and older, you use the back 2 locations, 2 holes, and then the center 2 holes. In the 2019 and newer, you're going to use the back 2 sets and the forward 2 sets. That's just how the layout worked out, and I tried to make one part that would work for both model years, or all of those model years, 2007 forward. When you go to do this, you're going to put these 2 straps up in place in the vehicle, and then you're going to bring the tray underneath the vehicle and push it up. And you're going to have to work a little to make sure this alignment lines up something like this. You'll put a bolt in each one of those locations. You can put 2 bolts in there, or you could probably just get away with 1. And at that point, the tray should be held in place. If not, you might have to shove the tray up on the pinch weld. That should keep it in place. You're going to then come out from the vehicle, and you're going to drill these 3 holes, these 5/16 holes. You don't want to drill these 3 holes until you have these straps in place and you've secured the tank tray to these straps, because if you don't, this hole pattern isn't going to line up, and you're going to have to drill 3 new holes. This box wrench is used that once you have these holes drilled and you've dropped the tray, you've put the tank back in there, and you've pushed the whole set back up in there, this is used just to hold that nut like that from down below. I have this drill here. It's an impact drill. I have an extension on there, and I would use a socket on it. You don't have to do that, but it makes it a lot handier and quicker. But you can use a wrench with a socket on there, but you're going to need an extension because you're feeding this up between our strap and the fuel tank, so there's only a few inches in there. Okay, now let's go to the vehicle and let's take a look at what we're talking about. When the rubber hits the road, this is what it looks like. We've got really high clearance here, which is pretty slick. That's one of the reasons that I did this. We wanted to get it up. We could have gone with a bigger tank, but it would have dropped it down a few inches, and I thought, hey, let's keep ground clearance as high as possible. So I'm going to go onto the vehicle, and I'm going to give you a visual of what this looks like. So it's kind of hard to see under here, but we've got 1, 2, and 3 fuel straps. This center fuel strap, again, we don't do anything with it. That's going to keep the tank up in place. You're going to go up in that. Oh boy, that is hard to see. My apologies. You can probably see the head of that bolt up in there. You're going to pull out the factory bolt. You're going to do the arrangement of bolt, lock washer, mounting flange, and the 2 flat washers up against the fuel strap, the existing fuel strap. And this is the ribbing that I mentioned earlier. It's a little bit of a low spot in the middle, and what we're trying to do is build contact through all of the bolts, the washers, everything right up to the chassis, so there's no void there. You're going to get 1 mounting flange in place. You're going to slide down. You're going to get the other bolt removed, reinsert the new bolt and the mounting flange. And once you have those 2 straps in place, then you can take this tray and come out here and put a 1/4-20. You can just hand tighten those in there. You don't need to. We're just trying to get the location so we can drill these 3 holes right here. Once we have those 3 holes, we can drop this down, slide the tank on, throw the tank in tray, and push it back up in there. And once we have it up in there, you could put 1 bolt, just push it through the pinch weld, and then come back underneath here and secure those 2 fasteners and then the 2 fasteners down there. Then you would slide back out here and secure these 3 fasteners. And that's about it. It's not hard. I'm probably making it more difficult than it needs to be. I'm going to do one other thing and slide down here. This is an option. We have this electric ball valve, and I've included the ball valve and then all of these fittings in there to make it convenient for you, including a switch. You don't have to use our switch. You could use a switch of your own. This is a really a low amp draw unit. When this thing is energized, it opens the valve, and then the power consumption turns off. You energize again, and then it would close it. So it's not sitting there consuming power or running when it hits the end of its throw. In there, you're going to have 1.5 to half inch to 1.5 male-female part right here. There's a male-male plug that goes between the ball valve and that, and then this threaded 90 with barb on it. You don't have to use this. I included it in there because I think it's just a little easier and cleaner when it comes to draining straight out instead of dripping off the bottom, but totally up to you. Again, that's an option. And then you're going to have to go about doing the fill and then venting up in there. I leave that up to the user. I imagine you guys can get through that. If not, you can ask me some questions. Well, there it is. I'm sorry I don't have a lift to do this whole installation with you, but if you have any questions, you can let me know. I'm making it harder than it is. I can install these in probably 20 minutes or less. You'll probably take 20 to 30. The whole system isn't very hard. The plumbing, of course, is going to take a little bit longer, but getting this whole system up in place is really pretty straightforward. But if you have any questions, let me know. You can reach me via email, text, phone, social media, and I'll get back with you. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day, guys.